Welcome back to Moyers Entertainment. Today, I'm going to be talking about the TV show Gotham. And what the fuck happened to it? Gotham was a TV series that ran from 2014 to 2019 on Fox television. At its core, it follows Jim Gordon, a young homicide detective, solving cases around Gotham. And sometimes we have perspectives from the Penguin, or Nygma, or Bruce Wayne. There has been an abundant supply of DC content, whether you like the Snyder cuts of the movies, whether you like the animated TV shows, whether you like animated movies like Under the Red Hood or Suicide Squad, some great films. There is always enough content and variety if you don't like one. It's like putting one good egg in a basket and the rest of them stink. Just because some of the eggs smell like shit doesn't mean there isn't a good egg in there. I say this because I like Gotham as a TV show. It's just weird how the potential of the show gets thrown out the window once it starts focusing on the wrong things. I like the show. I like the concept of following Jim Gordon and seeing the villains that we know and love get to the point that they were when Bruce Wayne takes the mantle of Batman. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the characters in Gotham. Strap in or strap on, we're getting started. The first character we're going to be talking about is Harvey Dent, or Two-Face. Or more like the lack of Harvey Dent in Two-Face. Harvey Dent does show up in the show for like 2 episodes, one of which is named after him. After that, he doesn't show back up in the show. I don't understand this, and I don't understand why they did not delve deeper into his character. The actor who was portraying him did a good job. He even had a bipolar freakout session when he was talking to Lovecraft in the episode. But here, let me show you a clip from Gotham of Harvey Dent.
Hey, nice work on the Hargrove case. You saved the poor guy's life. You're a regular saint.
Thanks. We'll be talking again soon, I hope.
You bet.
No, you won't see him again. You won't see him again, Jim, because he never shows the fuck back up. To be fair, he has scenes in season 2. I fucking forget, but I think they're in a courtroom. But after that, he doesn't really get any development. He's just never there. And by season 5, when Bruce Wayne at the end of the show turns into Batman, you never see him as Two-Face. And maybe this is just me nitpicking the show, but he was a good character. He was introduced into the show early on, had a whole episode dedicated to him. So I don't know, maybe it was just creative differences or the writing staff, but maybe they just didn't know what to do with him. That's fair enough. But to bring him back into season 2 and to never really touch and develop his character seems just fucking weird. But that does not even get me started on the tragedy that is Edward Nygma. Poor Edward Nygma just gets demolished in the first season of Gotham. Rewatching Gotham, which I'm doing right now, I can't help but feel kind of bad for him. His co-workers despise him, treat him nothing more than a joke, and sure, he can get a little annoying, but he's a person. And the only one who treats him with any sort of respect is Jim, of course, and maybe the commissioner to start out. But everyone hates the guy. And Ed, of course, has faults. He messes with things he shouldn't, like the coroner. The coroner has his job, which is to cut up the bodies and find evidence maybe for Jim Gordon and Detective Bullock when they need to solve a case. Ed, throughout the first season, actually does the coroner's job better than him. And not only that, it's shown that Ed isn't as corrupt as this man, because when the time came, the coroner, my fucking God, said that a man in the GCPD who was killed with a fucking ice pick committed suicide with it because he didn't want to arrest his friend cop. He was protecting him. And when Edward was doing this, of course it was probably wrong of him to do, but even Jim afterward was like, no, I want Nygma to do this. Nygma will find out what is in here. He's smart enough to do it, and he's know what he's looking for. And then it pushes Nygma, probably to this breaking point, to chop up bodies and put him in this guy's locker. And I'm not saying that that wasn't always a part of him, but it definitely wasn't the start of it. If you belittle someone and berate them over and over again and you keep pushing them, at some point they're going to snap. Here, let me play a very sad scene from Edward Nygma.
Till further notice, you're suspended.
Finally.
But I found something.
Wasn't that sad? I was sad just hearing that. And the actor that portrays him, oh my god. Him and the Penguin are my favorite power couple. Yes, that's a thing in Gotham. The Penguin tries to date the Riddler. It's amazing. I don't care what you say. It's actually one of the best subplots of the show. I don't know why, but it has me interested throughout the entire thing. Which brings me to the nagging point that I think that most fans of the show would agree with. I think when this show started focusing more on making it something it wasn't, it kind of ruined the show for me. Listen, I love the Joker. I base my whole persona off of the guy. I love the character, and I love how crazy he can be and how energetic someone can portray him. Let's show a scene to demonstrate.
My mother was a cold-hearted whore who never loved anyone. And she'd never touch a pathetic old creep like you.
But that wasn't the point of this show. The point of this show was not to make a Joker origin story, a Joker film, or a Joker project. It was to tell the story about Jim Gordon and a young Bruce Wayne and surface level, his villains, like the Penguin, Riddler, like Solomon Grundy even, and that was fucking weird. You turned one of my favorite characters into Solomon Grundy, brought him back from the dead. I don't even fucking understand the writing sometimes of this show, but that's not the point. When the show was focused on what it was, telling the story about a young Jim Gordon and Batman's villains, it worked because it wasn't even singly focused on one villain. Throughout the first season, it develops Ed Nygma's mind and how he started to become the Riddler. Hell, even the later seasons helped him develop that persona, because to him, he didn't know who he was until he became the Riddler. He had to become the Riddler, like how the Penguin became the Penguin. He wasn't always Oswald Cobblepot. So, for me, at least, I think when this show needed to use the Joker, or didn't even have permission to use the Joker, and just, okay, let's back up. Fox did this show. Warner Brothers said you could use all the characters but the Joker. You know, they gave them select few. And Batman, mind you, has one of the greatest roster of villains. Hands down, I think he has some of the best. But besides that, because of this actor, who portrayed him very well, mind you, because of him, they started focusing more on a Joker origin, or this character being the Joker. Teased it. They wanted it to happen. Hell, they basically said it without saying it. This is our Joker. And I love the actor. I love the way he portrays the character. I like the character. It's just weird to me because in the final seasons of the show, it no longer feels like it was developing anyone else or anything else. When I watch the show now and I'm rewatching it, maybe my mind will change. It seems like the beginning seasons were unfolding, basically. It was unfolding into something bigger. These characters coming into bigger light, realizing who they are, becoming evil or becoming villains, and seeing how that happened. It wasn't one-note things. It wasn't one-stroke things. Sure, some things may not add up. Some of the writing may not be the best, but it was good, and I enjoyed it. And not to say the Joker part of this ruined it for me, but it took away from what I felt would have been a better show. Is that weird? And I'm open to other people's opinions here if you've watched this show before. I feel like if you would have taken the Joker out of it, you would have still had a great show. You would have had a great Batman show, a great origin story. I believe that 100%. And I think characters like Oswald, like Barbara, like Talia, like Butch, and God, all those characters, maybe even Jim and Bruce, would have been done better. The story would have been better because it felt like the more and more it went on, especially in the final seasons, that the villains of the show, like the people that you followed forever and ever, became side characters to Jerome or his brother, which I can't even get into how ridiculous the twin brother side of that was. I never understood it, and I never understood why it was a good idea. If you're going to have a Joker, just have one. Stop having the best of both worlds. Criminal Joker, a crazy Joker, it doesn't matter. Just choose one. It's just weird to me because I felt like we got shorted from a really great show with actors who are putting on really great performances because they needed more ratings. I'm not mad. It's just interesting to me to see how ratings could change a way a show is developed and written. It's like YouTube. Basically, if a video performs really well, like if this video hit 100K, I'm sure I'd make a Gotham Part 2 to get that succulent YouTube money. But this TV show literally seen the fans' reaction of this actor and this character and wanting the Joker to be in the show and said, we want it. We'll watch your dumbass show as long as you give us what we want. And I'm kind of sad they let in. And I love the actor who played him. I think he played him really fucking well. Both versions of the character. I think he did tremendous. He was in another show too called Shameless. Check it out. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it. Great fucking actor. It's a great actor. But it just felt because of him, these other characters became nothing more than side characters to his story. And I guess that happens with everything. I guess it shouldn't bug me so much. But it's just interesting to me how the best part of a show almost ruined the show for me. Another big point of the show, like a selling point of the show, was you weren't actually supposed to know who the Joker was in the show. Like throughout the entire season 1, or even when Jerome, I think, dies at some point, and before he gets resurrected, of course, there's a moment where there's a bunch of televisions and a bunch of children laughing. And even though there's episodes like The Red Hood, where the kid picks up the mask and puts it on, it's like any one of these people could be the Joker. There's a episode 1, I think, of Gotham. There's a failing comedian who's trying to make Fish Mooney laugh. Like, that guy could have been the Joker. The idea of it was you weren't supposed to know, but the show hinted that it's like, yes, we know that this character isn't here, but truthfully, the Joker, well, I guess if we're going by comic origin, it wasn't a thing until Batman existed. Batman created him. But the pressure of the fans made this character become more of a mainstay. And I don't think the show's worse for it. I just think that other characters kind of got sidelined for it. Sorry I got derailed there. I feel like I was ranting a bit too long on this topic, but honestly, Gotham is a good show with a lot of great actors and a lot of great episodes, so I do think it's worth checking out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want me to do more videos like this in the future, like reviewing Gotham to a further extent, because I could talk about it a little more, like the writing and the choices that they made were very, very interesting, and I feel like I could talk about that a lot more. So if you are interested in that, or interested in me checking out a different show, please leave it down below. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope that you were entertained.